No, I already said Jeff John, but you said Mary King's probably not.
Mary's
Yeah,
not.
you can put
Okay,
Tracy up.
all right.
So we'll have both
Okay.
of those.
Yeah.
All right, y'all are up on live stream, so beware. You're already filming. And not that y'all would see anything, but sometimes people forget. And then it's also the microphone room. So I don't know who's supposed to be sitting here. Not me.
Well, normally Brianna used to sit there, but now she sits down there.
She don't want to be seen. Well, she can't be seen either. I mean, it's not showing.
Yeah, but it's a different one with that OHM marker.
Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome.
We really watched it. We really watched it. So I still don't understand what they want to do. Okay.
So
Be sure
I guess she never got a hold of Clay.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm going to
Is that somebody here that's going to talk? I don't know. It might be. Yeah. With somebody different.
So I guess they changed their mind and don't want to fully enclose it, which I thought was
Okay, it's
They would-
6:30. Let's call to order. Can I get a roll call?
Doug DeMino.
Sure.
Tracy Shot.
Cindy Maloney. Priscilla Garrett.
Kyle McVeigh.
Dan Maloney.
Lori Marchman.
Okay, we have we have a fill-in liaison tonight. Houston is here in place of Phil. Okay, citizens' comments. We'll hear comments from citizens or visitors. Are there any citizens' comments for us tonight? Par for the course, right? There never is. So we will close citizens' comments at 6:31. Approval of minutes, number 4, the minutes for June 17th. I apologize, they're already signed. So Mary just put them in front of me one night and I signed them without thinking. So if anybody has a problem with them, we will re-sign them tonight. So look them over. If not, do I have a motion?
A motion to pass.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. I don't have to re-sign it. Number 5, discussion and action items. I'm going to read the 5 and then we'll go back up and start. Discussion and action on the certificate of appropriateness for 1303 Lorenzo. Discussion and action on the certificate of appropriateness for 1212 Fiorella. Discussion and action on a certificate of appropriateness for 1715 Amelia. Discussion and possible action on downtown signage presented by Darren Ham, Tourism and Business Development Director. And E, discussion and appropriate action on the rezoning of 1005 Alamo Street. So we'll go back up to A. Selena?
Alright, so 1303 Lorenzo Street. I had sent the applicant an email on June 19th, going over things we discussed at the June meeting. I wanted to just to clarify a few things, but also offer guidance to a solution. The applicant responded on June 27th. That he would get back to my email. It was pretty lengthy, so I gave him some time. And then on yesterday, he did send me an email. I do need to go read back through it because that was a very lengthy email as well. But basically, the applicant is seeking clarification on what exactly needs to be addressed because he believes the feedback from the HLC was subjective and inconsistent, so I just have to meet with him. So I will be scheduling a meeting with him soon.
Okay.
Just that's my update right now. Hopefully we can get him back in August. That's where we're at on that one.
Okay. Anybody got any questions of Selena on that?
Thank you, Selena.
Okay. Tabled.
Take no action.
Take no action. There wasn't any. Okay, B, discussion and action on the certificate of appropriateness for 1212 Fiorella.
So
Across the street.
last month we had approved a C of A for work on this one. After we sent out the approval letter, the applicant requested changes to the scope of work. Because the changes were significant, we asked them to resubmit a new application. And then
Sure. So when we came last month, good afternoon, good evening. When we came last month, we had some options to create 2 different suites or tenant locations, and that's what was ultimately approved. And then from that time to now, we have an actual real life tenant that's going to be, or that is desiring to occupy the space. And so through that, now we have more of a narrow path onto what that's going to look like. So we are asking to extend the enclosure to the end of the roof line, which Selena helped with the sketch. And so I just kind of wanted to talk through, is the sketch up there?
So, what I'll do is I'll go over what you submitted.
Okay,
and then
perfect.
we'll ask.
Okay, so I'll be quiet.
But don't sit down.
I will.
Alright, so this is where the property is located, right across the street from here, in the AG zone. It is part of the 1969 and 2002 THC historic resources surveys, and this is what it looks like now. It is built in 1980. It was built in 1985, so it's not historic. It's not a contributing structure. I'm just throwing that out there. So these are the proposed improvements. The applicant wants to fully enclose the carport with the same vertical wood board and batten, the siding to match the existing garage. They will reuse and relocate those French doors, and they are proposing to add 2 6x6 windows on each side of that. The colors that they want to paint the enclosure are either settler blue or hemlock green. They haven't chosen which one yet.
So on that, your recommendation on here was sometimes the darker colors make it look heavy. And so upon further investigation and thought, we would like to complement the neighboring building. So the saloon here, the primary color of that building instead of the shutter color. So I think if you have a color palette in front of you, I'm really thinking that parchment color on the left. But I'm open to what you guys think. Obviously, it's a new business. We want it to pop. We don't want it to kind of get lost. But I'm up for your opinion on that.
I don't have the color palette, but
It's
just
It's more of a
matching
cream.
the building.
Yes.
Okay. So it would look kind of like
Right.
a sketch right here. So let's see. Another thing that is happening or they're proposing is to add a new single door that will be located on the side of the building. It is going to match the existing craftsman style doors on the existing garage. And that will here. So
Yes, so it's more like we want the exterior to look the same with the board and batten. The enclosure, we think it might be good to have an accent, kind of like the next door or the building next door. So
to go over the recommendations, like Brittany, right?
yes,
Brittany was saying, I did suggest a lighter color to complement the structure next door. The 6/6 windows that they're proposing in the plan, there's just a little inconsistency in the plan. The plan shows 3-foot wide windows, but everything on the existing building is a 2-foot wide window, and the French doors are 2-foot as well. So I was recommending
Okay.
a 2-foot
okay.
window.
And that's just our general contractor trying to provide you guys with information. So that's an easy fix.
And then another thing, the plan shows the French doors centered on the entire structure instead of just on the enclosure, which that sketch shows centered on the enclosure. And I recommended that the doors are centered on the enclosure because if they were centered on the structure, it would be off centered.
Especially if you paint it, right? So yeah, we would just shift that over in the plans, right? And then resubmit that.
Okay, and so those are the two main things. Other general comments were these would be ADA compliant. Another thing is they must retain the decorative features of the French doors, and the doors cannot be flush with the threshold, so there has to be.
Okay. And then I think you also had a recommendation to include a step.
So that's what that, the threshold cannot be flushed with the
Right.
door.
Okay,
Of
so
the
just-
exterior floor,
Uh-huh.
there has to be some.
Okay, elevation. Okay.
Okay, and that was, all my comments. It sounds like Brittany, is willing to change those things that I recommended, and so I would, recommend approval of this.
Okay.
Conditions.
If we approve, you mentioned to redo and come back. You can show that she doesn't have to come back if we approve what she suggested for I think it was for the
Yes.
windows.
Okay.
Yeah,
The windows, the color.
if we approve what she wants with the 2-foot wide windows now, she doesn't have to come back to us again.
No, I would just write it in
Just
the.
write it into
Okay.
the C of A. And my only other comment is there anywhere you can match some trim on that building that matches the shutters on that? Or is that,
I'm wondering if you can even have shutters, on the add-on windows, and that could accent it if we add shutters to
would you
the.
have room? Might not have room. There may not be enough room for shutters.
There might.
I mean, that was just a thought because it'll be, except for the doors, it'll all be white,
Mhm.
right? Except for the doors. And I just thought maybe if you could move some accent color somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You could probably, depending on the windows, if they're gonna be like a wood window, if you're using those or matching those, you can probably get the frame to be one of those colors.
Okay.
That would just be a suggestion instead of just having an all white type building. Okay, we'll start down here this time.
Okay.
based on that conversation, the doors are going to be the color of the accent as well?
So the doors
Like-
are existing in the color of that stain. So it would be the color of the stain.
So it would be,
The
it'll be
reused
brown?
doors. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then a question really for the board here. How do we allow a doorstep, and how does that bypass ADA regulations?
So there is ways to add like a ramp, that is removable. They would need access to the main space. So there's ways to have like a removable, ramp if needed. There's other ways I can help you with that, just give you suggestions, that I'll find through the Interior Secretary, standards.
Okay.
To help you with that.
And I'm sure, typically a general contractor knows the ADA compliance, right?
That was all I had.
Okay. Dan?
I think it looks good. I appreciate all the effort and the interest you have in trying to keep it to look historically correct in that area. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the sketch because that really brought it to life. So thank you. Selena.
Who sketched it? Is it pretty?
Selena.
Oh, you. Oh, good job.
Yes.
That does help us. Kyle?
It looks good.
Thank
Thank you for making the effort.
Sure.
I was thinking along the lines of Priscilla about the accent color. And at first I was thinking like her, that the color of the next door saloon, but then again, you don't want to look like you're part of the saloon either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, that's up to you, but it might be better to have something a little bit different accent wise so that people won't think that you're a part of that saloon.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like going with the cream instead of making it such a bold statement next to it.
And just find a way to accent, if
Just
it's
an
the
accent
frame.
would be pretty,
Yeah.
and the green would be pretty, but I got to worrying about people thinking that you're part of the saloon.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, either one. It'll be beautiful.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Is it going to be retail or professional?
Right now we have an LOI with an ice cream shop. So yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, that's exciting.
No, it looks great to me. I was surprised, y'all, that this was what I expected the first time.
I agree. We're a month behind.
Okay, any other comments?
I just want to tell her thank you for complying so easily. That's nice.
Yes.
Can't have too many ice cream shops.
No, that's his downfall. Ice cream.
Apparently they bought a gelato machine from New York that they're driving down right now. So
Oh,
should be top notch. Yeah.
okay. All right, if there's not any other comments, can I get a motion? And let's include a couple of things in the motion that we want Selena to put into it that weren't in it. Do you want Selena to tell us what to say?
Okay. So we are approving the application with the color complementing the building, the neighboring building, the cream color. With the 2-foot windows. And did you guys want the trim?
I think that's up to her.
That's
Yeah.
really up to
That's up to her. We were just giving suggestions.
We would approve either one of those colors for trim if they want to use the trim, so.
And then to center the French doors on the enclosure.
And then the threshold you said, is that already in there?
That's just like the general comment, but
Okay.
that's already in the recommendation.
I motion that we accept it the way that Selena just said.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
That was B, right? Lots of B. What is this? Discussion and action on a certificate of appropriateness for 1715 Amelia.
So, seems a little long.
What is this one?
The applicant is proposing a restoration and renovation to the 1870s portion of the home, as well as an addition to the main home and new construction of an accessory structure. Just so you know, the applicant is not the homeowner. He is looking to buy the home contingent on your approval. But he wanted to go through this process to make sure everything was okay. So he did get a letter from the homeowner, so they gave him permission to submit his application.
This one is not on our 96 list, right?
No, this one
This
wasn't
was not on the 96, yeah. That's what I
So,
thought.
this
So we've
is-
never really looked at this.
Yeah, located on Berlin Street and Amelia. It is on the 2002 THC Historic Resources Survey, but it was listed as a low contributing structure, even though it's from the 1870s. It was a low contributing structure. So this is what the house looks like right now. You can see the left side is the original home, and then it has additions from the 1950s. That porch is also an addition, and then the side lean-to is an addition. So the applicant is The applicant is proposing to restore the 1870s portion of the house by removing those additions. He is also proposing to restore a more proportional overhang and replace the windows with the same profile and dimensions on the 1870s structure. Here's another angle of that side addition and the front porch that he wants to remove. On the rear of the home, he is also proposing to remove all additions that are not in the 1870s period of significance.
All the carports that are like there.
Yes. And the accessory structures. On the other side of the house, facing Berlin Street, the 1950s portions of the house will also be removed. The applicant is proposing to reconstruct a proportional lean-to. As you can see, he provided a sketch where the existing lean-to is not your typical traditional proportion, so he wants to reconstruct it and make it more proportional. So here's a site plan of the proposal. As you can see, the historic home will be restored and the additions will be added to the back of the home. And the accessory structure will also be on the rear of the property. For this site plan, he included a lot of things that were gonna be, for the landscaping. So he's proposing a gravel paved drive, a grass paved guest parking, crushed stone walk up to flagstone, door stoops, native plantings, trees to shade the west side, drought tolerant turf, a 6-foot non-climb wire fence on the back of the property and the side fence, opposite of Berlin Street. A 4-foot coyote fence on Berlin Street and no fence on Amelia Street, and a low dry stack stone wall at the entry. Here's that low dry stack wall that he's talking about. Here's a sketch of the proposal. As you can see, this is the 1870s home. They're gonna add this connector, which is lower than the house, and then everything's gonna be added onto the side and set back. And then the accessory structure is going to be pushed to the rear of the property and be a different material. They're proposing, it's a cement. It was cement, painted smooth, hardy fiber cement panels with 1x2 batten, so it's gonna look like board and batten. And then you note that instead of the shingle roof that was on the 1870s home, they are proposing to put a standing seam metal roof, which would be a natural silver color. So that's that. Here's another angle of that. This would be a 4-foot coyote fence. With some more elevations showing that. Yeah. They also proposed 6/6 windows for most of the large windows, and then it was 4 panel with 2 glass lights for the smaller windows that they have on the house. This is the color palette. Again, the silver roof, the trim would be one of these greens. The stucco would be matching the original home, and the door would be this bluish color. So, let me get to my, Mr. Conrad, if you wanted to come up too, if you want to speak on anything, add to that.
No,
Hi.
I'm Mickey Conrad, and thank you for letting me present to you this evening. A little bit of history about this house. It was built by the Incan family as a Sunday house. So it was the first Airbnb in Castroville back in 1870. They would use it on the weekends, and so it was the original house is one room with a fireplace and 3 windows and a front door and a back door. So we're going to basically, the idea for the concept was to highlight that building on the corner and then let all the additions kind of step back away from it to the diagonally opposite corner in the back where the accessory structure is back there. So it would give the original house a lot more prominence than it has today. And as Selena mentioned, the connector would be a new entry that would be at a lower scale to differentiate the old from the new. And so that's the idea. So the plan, kind of the forms of the buildings are designed to complement the historic structure. The roof line, the ridge line won't be any higher than the existing house. And so all of that is designed to highlight the original structure. There's a large, you're probably familiar with that property, but there's a magnificent live oak tree on Berlin. And so our site plan, the idea is that open that yard on the Berlin side so we can really enjoy that live oak tree, and then have the other side for the garage and our carport, I should say, and shop and things like that.
That'll be your yard.
That'll be my front yard.
That'll be, yes.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if y'all get into setbacks, but the only way that we could get that to work is we're going to change the address from Amelia to Berlin. It's not going to change the look of the building at all. It's just a technicality that the address will be on Berlin. So all our friends will come on Berlin anyway. Yeah, I don't have any other comments. I was concerned about the letter about the garage not being on the Berlin side, but we would prefer it to be on the Amelia side just because it reinforces our concept for the plan.
Yeah, so I'll get into the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are a few major comments. One was making sure the roof cable is lower than the main home, and in the drawings it looks to be the same. So just we can lower that.
Well, I've got a detailed response to that. That existing house pitch is 7.54 in 12. And so we can make the new house 7.5 and lower the plate line just a hair to get the ridge line to be lower than the existing house. Plus being set back, it's not going to compete with it visually. So that's going for us there.
Another one was to provide details of the door on the 1870s home. If you were going to replace that I know there was like a screen door, a wooden screen door there, well, from the pictures.
Yeah, the door is kind of a 1950s door, not the screen door, but the actual door. So we would like to replace that with a typical 4-panel door that you see on the historic homes here in Castroville.
And for this door,
We probably would just remove the screen door and not even have it.
another comment I had was to provide height on the low dry stock stone wall. I'm assuming it's gonna be under 2.
Yeah, it's 16 to 18 inches. That's seat height, dry stack stone wall. There's a pecan tree, an existing pecan tree that's kind of right in the center of that walkway. So the idea is to kind of make a seating wall around the base of that tree as you enter at the connector. Okay.
One thing that I did not mention in the letter, Mr. Conrad, was the color, the paint color of the accessory structure. I didn't see anything on that.
Well, I think in the narrative, we mentioned that whatever trim we paint the windows, so we'll select the window color, and we have 3 options there to be determined. So the window and the trim would be the same. And so we would use that same color to paint the board and batten on the accessory structure. So all that would kind of tie together.
And then those are the main comments. The other ones were general, to not use Portland cement or mortar.
Yeah, I concur.
Preserve large oak trees.
Can I comment about that? Because I just went by there to look, all the trees except one are out of the footprint, but there's a pecan tree that's behind that back shed that I think is going to be in the kitchen. And I don't want a tree in my kitchen. But no, there's one tree out of, let's see, there's like 6 or 7 trees on that site, and we're able to preserve all of them except one.
Your mama would be very proud.
Oh, she would.
Okay. And then other notes that I wanted to bring to the board is, given its low contributing status, the proposed removal of the 1950 additions are not proportionate, and the restoration to the original 1870s home is considered appropriate. And then the setbacks, those would just have to comply with the CZO. We don't.
Okay.
So those are my comments. Based on these answers, I would recommend approval with, as when you update those plans, just, lowering that picture or just showing that.
I'll just make a note. Yeah.
Then yes, I would recommend
Okay.
approval. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, want to start back on that end?
I've always been curious, what are those 3 bins that are off to the left used for?
Well, Oscar Cease, so the Incans built the house, and then later they sold it to the Druckut family. And then Mabel Cease bought it from the Druckuts, and then she married Oscar. And so that's when they put the 1950s addition on. And Oscar sold sand and gravel around here. And so those were stalls that he could separate his sand and gravel. Yeah. But that's on a separate lot. It's actually 2 lots. So that's on the second interior lot.
Is that it?
Yeah. Are the current windows, are they metal?
They're in the 1950s.
Yeah.
They changed the roof overhang detail. They took out the original windows and made the openings a little smaller and installed just aluminum windows that they sold in the 1950s. Well, probably, no, that was later because the 1950s addition has steel casement windows, which was typical in the 1950s. So they probably replaced those wood windows later, after the 1950s. Probably, I don't know when, I'd be guessing, but they didn't have aluminum windows, I don't think, in the 1950s.
That's it?
I like it. I think it looks good.
Thank you.
Cindy?
You said that they had come in and done the overhangs more like the 1950s, and so in the drawing, it looks like you're going to go back to more the original
Yes, ma'am.
type overhang.
Yes,
Okay, that looks really good.
yeah.
I like it a lot.
What a project. I mean,
Yeah.
you're taking on a lot, but
Yes, you
it's really neat that you're bringing the old building back. That's good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And coming back to Castroville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's great.
thank you, sir.
Good plans.
Mhm.
I just have two questions.
Okay.
The first one is to Selena. Is the overall footprint comply with 40% or less?
Well, we don't have the UDO yet.
Well, what's the current proportion?
60.
60?
60.
Okay, and it's okay with that?
I believe so. I haven't done the calculation, so whenever something like this happens, there's a whole different building review that goes into it. We just have to put the setbacks a little bit and everything's in compliance with the setbacks. But all those things, I didn't go by the checklist yet, but I would assume that this does not meet that 60%. So.
Does
So
not.
you're doing 2 lots, actually, aren't you?
No, I'm just building on one, on the corner lot.
So if it doesn't meet the 60 now, does you have to look at something different?
If it exceeds 60% of the lot,
exceeds
yeah, then you would have to look into something. Like I said, there's a lot of lots that have a lot more coverage than this right here.
It does, it meets it, because I've done a couple of setback exhibits. Just studying the difference between an Amelia Street address versus Berlin. And if the house still maintained the frontage on Amelia, the buildable area would only be 44% of the lot. And if you, by making the address on Berlin, it makes it 51%. So neither of those are more than 60. So it's in compliance with the lot coverage. And is that footprint or total impervious cover? Total impervious, okay. Well, then I've got to do a little studying and make sure that, because that back, the Berlin yard, we've got a sizable area of gravel pavement, but it's not concrete, so it's somewhat pervious.
I would have to take a look at it.
Okay.
After that stage.
But otherwise, we can
Well,
adjust it
we-
to make it
but we
comply.
can- But we can go ahead and approve tonight, and that can be worked out later.
Yeah,
He may
that's
have to,
completely separate than what
he-
y'all approved.
just so he's aware, he may have to do something a little different if it gets over 60.
Yeah. No problem.
My second question, just a little bit as far as the project overall. I'm just curious as far as the success of our outreach to the community. And you have a history in Castroville? Okay, so you're not someone from, I don't know, Dallas or something that doesn't have any idea about our historical aspect. I was just curious if realtors were, communicating to people coming in, but you already know the history, so that kind of answers my question.
Yes, yeah,
That's why I said his mama would be very proud.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I was.
all right. Thank
And
you.
his mom was very bossy when she was here.
And I think it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, can I get a motion? You ready, Kyle? Who's gonna motion me here?
Could we go over the recommendations
Yes.
first?
Okay, so the recommendations were to have the additions be lower than the historic home. The next one was for the front door on the 1870s home. Mr. Conrad's gonna provide more details on that, but it would be to replace the door with a 4-panel door and remove the screen door. To have a low dry stack stone wall, be 16 to 18 inches high, and to paint the accessory structure to match the window, the color selection of the window trims.
What was that last part?
To paint the accessory structure the same color as one of the green leaves of the window trims.
So we put 3 options up there. We couldn't decide on which one, and they're pretty subtly different. They're all historic colors, so we just haven't nailed one yet.
Okay, who's going to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the application with the additional changes, which include lowering the overall new addition to be lower than the historic home, more detail on the front door to be 4-panel, removing the screen door, make sure the stone wall is 16 to 18 inches high, and match the accessory structure to your trim.
Second.
You got it?
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're glad to see you moving back.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Oh, does he?
He's on the historical.
Oh, really? Oh, he does.
Yeah, also the-
Okay. Wow, D. Discussion and possible action on downtown signage, presentation by Darren Ham, Tourism and Business Development Director. Hi, Darren. This is
Good evening.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
You guys all look marvelous.
Thank you.
And, okay, I think I can, this is, every time you guys say new edition, the new edition, I keep thinking of Candy Girl. So, anyway, no one's going to get that reference unless you're old like me, but I still couldn't help it. All right. I can be cheesy, right? Hi, I am here at I've been here before to discuss historic signs. And I can't really even remember. It was back in March of last year. Yeah, we had a conversation, and I'm back to have this conversation again. And what I'm hoping to have, I believe, is for you guys to take a look. I have run these by local business people. They've been presented to a lot of different people. I've got a lot of different feedback. And I guess my hope is that you guys will say it fits and it's okay to put one sign up on Fiorella Street down here to test it with a goal of putting these as an entry point to our downtown historic district to kind of bring people in. The goal was to use graphics based on what we've used before and historic imagery, like what's on the shirt, what we've used there, what's on the houses. Yeah, that's where that comes from. And so that's kind of where that what we're hoping to do. And obviously it's kind of almost like a test, which is what I presented it for at the very beginning. This is something to test to see how it goes, because we're really just trying to support our local businesses. What's something that visually will help pull people from 90 to kind of say there's something magical down this way. Because when I first came to Castroville, I drove into town and Scott Dixon was driving me in when I interviewed for the job. And I really thought I had been sold a bill of goods when I drove into Castroville. I did not see what I had read about online until we turned on to Fiorella. And then I said, oh, now I know. Now I get Castroville when you get into this historic part. And so one of the goals that I've always had since the beginning is to make sure that we're protecting and honoring that history, while also trying to strengthen our community in a way that we're more profitable and those taxes can help build what we have going here. So I guess I'm here to ask you if what you think, and hopefully maybe even get a decision on one that we think would still fit within the history of Castroville and be appropriate to put up, just one, as a test on here on Fiorella. And I will say that there's been some feedback about the downtown logo. And I will tell you, and sometimes I do these kind of things, it did win a national award. It's going to be in a design annual. So they liked it. But the idea behind there is because you see the stork that's on the Steinbach house on the very top, the ones that were on the little signage. And so the notion is the reason that's motion is to try to bring people in to help strengthen the businesses that we have downtown. Because to me, if our downtown businesses are doing well, then that's good for the whole community. But I think it's good to protect our identity. If you look at the numbers for the barbecue, Castroville barbecue, I looked at those today. They're up 30%. Their sales tax revenue is up 30% right now. And also, like the Dough Station is another restaurant that's doing very well. They have a 30% increase in their sales tax revenue. And even Rhonda J's, has a 30%. I just looked at a few this today. So we're seeing, those numbers go up. And so that's kind of the notion is if we protect this, then it will benefit everybody. So I'm hoping to put up a sign. That's my goal.
Go back down to the bottom when there was a lot of discussion about the bird. When it
Yeah.
was presented before, right?
I know. I don't understand. I will never quite ever understand. It's a part of the history of
I think because
of Castroville.
I know, but
I literally put it on one of the first things I ever created
I know you
way
did.
back in the day.
But I don't think people have the word stork in their mind when they come to Castroville, even though they see one on Steinbach House. I don't think they put it to.
I hear what you're saying. My thing is that we need something that creates motion. I put a lot of different visual imagery that could work. But my concern is it doesn't pull people into Castroville. It's not going to get them to come. You need something that has energy, and energy is in motion. So what else are we going to put there? We have different ideas, and I did a lot of different design. I don't have them up here. I'm sorry. I went through a lot of different iterations before I presented. But my concern is you need something that's pulling people into the community, into our downtown. And I don't know what else there is, that motion that connects to our history. So that's where the other things accent that. So that's where you get into the signage of the little house that's very much a part of our culture and our history.
Where would this one be?
That one? Which one?
That one with your stork.
That one with my stork. And I want you, here, can I say this? Can I share this? The reason that the stork, in the very beginning when I first started working here 3 years ago, you know who told me about the stork? Who did tell me about the stork and said it was important to our culture? You did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, it was you. You told me about it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
if you go to Alsace, and I'm sure most of the people on this panel have been to Alsace, you hit any of our sister cities that are in Alsace, the stork is an inhabitant of those cities.
Yeah.
If you go and look at any of the church steeples, where you'll see huge nests for the stork sitting on the roof of these buildings. And so that's why it came over with the Pioneer.
Well, I like the stork. Don't get me wrong, but when you presented this at one of the council meetings?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I have a short memory though sometimes.
They called it everything but a stork.
Well, and I get that. And I'm not the thing that I really want to see, and I think that talking to business people is the biggest thing is getting that sign up on, and it's a small one. I would have larger goals for what we can do visually. Working within the history of Castroville, honoring it. I always try to honor it. I hope that people see my work and know that that's what I'm always trying to do. But something that really helps, because I think we're doing good, but I think we can do better. And I think that's part of the step. Is some of our placemaking that I would hope that we're going to work towards is more placemaking, signage that's going to help bring people in. We have it here, but that would be my next step. And so me, I'm just like that. If I can get that disc that just helps, and one that you guys say you like out of those three, or I really have put it in front of other people. I have discussed it with people. And so I don't really know. I've looked at it so long, I have no opinion any longer on it. So if you say the other one doesn't work, I can throw it in the trash. I'll just cry a little bit. I will. It'll be an emotional moment.
Can we,
Yeah.
okay, is this a recommendation today to council, or is this a motion that it goes up?
I believe that they wanted me to present it here. And if you guys said that this would be okay, historically, it fits within our parameters, then I would then take it to city council.
Okay.
And they would have the final say.
Okay. Okay, and then
That's my understanding.
And I like it. I like all of them except the one with the C in the circle. I think it's too busy. So either 1, 2, and downtown one's fine.
Okay.
I get the stork.
Well, and it's always, and I appreciate it. Yes. So out of those two on the left, I think they're on those, they're on here, yeah. Of the two, when I went to the local business people who have downtown businesses, the middle one was the one that was voted on.
That's what I like.
Really?
Yes.
That's the one.
That's the one that was voted on the most. That won the vote for local businesses.
I'm surprised.
And of course, you're going to have to trust me on that because, it is true. I'm not making it up. It is really the one that they voted for.
The red one just pops so much.
Yeah.
It does.
The 1844 on the second one pops. You can see the number 1844 a lot better. But they tie to me.
But I brought them, I like them all. I was taught long ago, never present something that you don't like.
Oh. Dan, what do you?
I prefer the first two, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Something I said?
Houston
It's
locked
the
into that?
ghost
Is
that lives here.
I like the red one in the store, but a suggestion on the store.
Yes.
Make a nest with the bird in it.
Yeah, I hear you. I've tried that. It just doesn't have any person. It's just,
It
It's
didn't
a-
work.
that's how I look at things. I look at it's just sitting there and it's like, okay, it's a bird sitting there. But if it's moving, then you go, oh, there's energy in motion.
Oh, it-
But what if we thought about, okay, I like the first two for downtown. What if we thought about that other one someplace before they get to downtown? And you could put the star in a nest and you wouldn't have to have the word historic on
Yes, we could do that.
it. Something like that?
Yeah.
But if it's, because I think there needs to be a bigger one someplace on the highway
Yeah.
Before they get into
before they get in and see this. The
Okay.
bigger ones.
And when it comes to highway signage, that's something that's been kind of on Arnie thing. And I respect Arnie, and I've never went that direction because that's his baby, and he works on that baby. And I've never gotten involved, and that's why, because that's Arnie's thing. And Arnie's been doing that before I ever showed up, and I'm going to respect that. I mean, you can talk. I mean, you can say, well, maybe you can work with Arnie. That's a suggestion I should take back. But that's why I've never, ever even thought about such a thing. Okay?
Oh, I think you probably shouldn't really worry about that.
Well, I try to be respectful of all
I
people.
know you do.
It's a goal that I have.
But I think we should look at some way of getting that bigger one with the store.
Well, just in a nest,
Some-
right? This
And
poor.
it-
Wait.
maybe it
I have to
would-
have. Can we have a moment of silence for this flying one though? Because
Maybe it,
I
maybe
like
it
the
would,
flying one.
maybe it would make them think about, oh, well, what's this town about? Why do they have this bird in this nest here?
maybe yes. And I don't know. I don't know. I think that it's a beautiful. It could be. We could do whatever. I mean,
I
at some
would
point.
want the big one downtown. The first two little ones.
Oh, I don't want the big one downtown either. I really just want some accents to visually help tie everything
How
together.
many would there be eventually downtown?
Well, right now I would say 3.
3?
Mm-hmm. And just bringing them in. So like one by where the chamber's at, there's a pole by the chamber. There's one on the next street over, and then one here. And the goal would be to work with you guys. This sounds, to work on something that's bigger. I would like to do something even bigger, but I know that's going to take more than just me, right? Like I throw something up there like that's this big because it's going to cost us like $160 to put a sign up. And I'm like, we can do this for now and then work together as a community to find something that's even more impactful. That's where I think we should go. And the reason it's really never happened and why we've been waiting was because we were trying to get a downtown development plan together. And so I was just trying to do something to help while that was being worked on. And I think that now, based on the process that we've been in, now it's time to go, okay, and if I told you like my next year of work here, I've been here for 3 years, would be, I think we need to work and probably set up a group of people and say, what are things that can actually be done that would help that honor our tradition, but move us forward?
See, I think a bigger one with the Stark on it would be at September Square, where that one is at September Square.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you're getting a guy like me, because that September Square is another sacred space, and I try to be very respectful of sacred spaces. I try not to. I look for landmines, and I try to avoid them. Usually, I just don't go that way, because that's why we joined it, right? Sometimes I step in them still, right?
But I don't think the city came to us when they put the one up in September Square. I don't remember them coming when they put when they put the ones, it's got, this is, this way, this is this.
Yeah,
way.
well, I'll have a talk with the city on that, okay?
So, okay, let's go to Cindy.
I worked as a graphic artist for several years, and I like your use of the color complements on the bottom one. I think that it gives you a happy feeling. You know, when you look at it, I like the flying bird. I don't know that I would recognize a stork in a nest.
Uh-huh.
Really?
But no, I don't think I would, but I do recognize they fly past our house sometime. And that's very much the way they look. I like the center sign the
Okay.
best. It was I could read it the quickest and easiest if I were driving down the street. The
Mm-hmm.
red one is very elegant looking,
Mm-hmm.
but it took me longer to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that the one on the right is pretty busy looking. So that's all of mine.
And for those of you who don't know, Cindy painted the mural that is on the back wall of the barn at Steinbach House.
Really? Well, there you go. Thank you.
Have you
I
ever-
should have known
Have you
that.
ever looked?
Should have known that.
Have you ever looked at that?
Not very closely. Got to be honest.
That's okay. It's not meant to be looked at close up.
I mean, could the Castroville with the stork on it, there's an optional place to put it, is at the Steinbach house?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe on the sign that sits out by the highway?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's not the one that's it's not really the most important one of the presentation here. I mean, really, honestly, and a lot of it was it's just a branding, because I think we are a historic district, and so, which is kind of what we did. And this is also keeping in line with the street signs, that we put up in just this area. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's keep that one in mind when we have to redo that one at Steinbach,
Okay.
right?
I think that's a real good idea.
Right.
Speaking of the street signs that we have now,
Sorry.
in the was there a cost consideration that was done to keep the same size as the current cross signs?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Again, when that was in March, we talked about that one. Yeah. The cost, it was a cost issue and size issue to fit what we already had. And then, because that was the other deal. Again, we're coming back in a place where we're trying to do some improvements while we can, if we're waiting for this grand something down the road. And that was a part of the conversation. Let's not spend a lot of money if in another 2 years it's going to all change. And so it was kind of a cost-effective way to make some improvements without, just being respectful of the budget of the city.
Okay.
So,
because to me they're too small.
yeah, and they were basically matching, other than like the size of what was already on them. Yes.
Tracy?
I like the first one. I think it's elegant. Catches my eye as being real elegant, nice to look at. Then the second one's good too, but I prefer the first one.
Okay. Do you want a show of hands? Or can we just say that the majority of us like either the first or the first and the second? Or do you want us to give you a specific one by a show of hands?
What would you like to do?
I'm asking you. You're the ones that has to talk to council later.
Well, I mean, if I would like your recommendation as a group. Yes.
On one of them.
Yes.
On one of them. All right, let's all think about this for a minute.
Are we talking about the three, or are we including all four?
No, I think just include the first two, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Just include the first two?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. How are we supposed to do this?
Well, just say vote for one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody who wants the first one, raise their hand. I don't like the first one. 2, 3, 4. What did you get?
First one.
First one, that's 4. And the second one would be 3.
Okay.
So you can tell them it was a real close vote between the two of them.
I will do that.
Because
But that's what I need to know.
And I
Yeah.
think that all three of us are happy with the first one. That it would be fine.
Okay. And as long as and this is okay, we're good with having this as part of our historic downtown.
Yes.
the group says, we are good with this, it's going to fit with our culture and what we're doing. That's the other thing I think is super important, is to make sure we all, okay. All right.
And save the one for when we redo Steinbeck House. the visit
Yes,
center.
I will definitely do that. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
It is nice
Thank
on
you.
that red one having the beige house since most of them are that color.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay. Hey, we're gonna be happy with E, I think, aren't we, Brianna? Discussion and appropriate action on the rezoning of 1005 Alamo Street. So Brianna has a story to tell us on this one.
So as y'all know, I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before that, there was a zone change request that came before y'all for this property. It was at 105 Alamo. And, it was to have that zoning change from residential to historic commercial at that point. Well, it turns out whenever we do these zone change requests, before we send out the public notices and everything, we go through all of our past ordinances, we do like a search for that property, for that lot, for that parcel. And it turns out back in 1986, somebody actually had already requested a zone change for that property from residential to commercial and it got approved.
Oh.
So we ran this through the attorney just to make sure, because the maps have never changed. They hadn't changed from since they got adopted in 1975. So we wanted to make sure that it still was valid, because we thought some of these maps maybe got adopted afterwards. But no, the ordinance stands. So technically that property is commercial, and the way it's zoned is just central commercial, which just means Highway 90 commercial at this point, okay? So I talked to the property owners, and they were here last time. I told them, don't worry about it, I'll take care of everything moving forward, because they agreed to let me come request a zone change on their behalf to make that, instead of Highway 90 commercial, to historic commercial. So the Historic Landmark Commission still has purview over what happens on that property. So, that's why I'm bringing it to y'all. Technically, HLC does not have to approve zone change requests. This is not typically something that has to come before y'all. But historically, planning and zoning and city council have always asked what y'all's opinion on something like this is. And so I hope that y'all's opinion would be in favor, since now y'all have a little bit, teeth back in it. Because before, as of a month ago, it was completely central commercial, so y'all will not get any kind of historic purview over it, so.
Does it go to P and Z after this? If we say yeah.
Yeah, I have to do the mailing notices and all that good stuff, but yeah, it will go to planning and zoning either in August or September, depending on what that time frame looks like.
Okay. Doug?
No, I'm glad that that's the request now. Before, we all thought it was residential. And then, so that's why we were pushing so hard on them to put a clause in their deed or whatever to protect it as historic. And then you discovered that it was already zoned commercial. And so this is the best case scenario, I think.
Okay. Tracy?
Yeah, I think it's the best case.
I agree.
Totally.
Glad to stay within the historic.
Agree.
Do you need an action item or not?
No, I got the consensus here, so like I said, y'all don't really take action on it, so moving forward, whenever it goes to planning and zoning, I'll let them know what y'all's feeling about it, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Item 6, discussion on future agenda items. Anything?
Well, I know we talked at one time about having the chief come in and really talk to us about
Code compliance.
code compliance. And I think we had Pearl a couple times once, but it wasn't exactly. I
Do
think
we
what
want to
were-
try to get him in again?
Yeah.
Do we have the list? Oh, we have the
We
list.
do, sorry, I just was able to talk to Carl today, so this is the most updated one. So 1401 is Isabella. Nothing's really changed with that one. Code enforcement still says they need to reach out, but they have not done so in the past month. So it is what it is at this point. And so I talked to her and she said she would reach back out to those property owners. 501 London, so he's been issued citations. I believe at this point he's been issued 2 citations. He hasn't showed up to court, but he's going to pay those citations. But that doesn't, whenever you do that, that doesn't relinquish your rights to not have to do anything. So This one is going back into Chief's purview. He is gonna be the one to go and talk to them next because the citations aren't working, the court process isn't working. And so the next thing is for Chief to intervene. And also, we have a new prosecutor, for Chief to go talk to that prosecutor to see what they think the next steps are, because nothing's happening on the property. And like I said, just because you pay your citation doesn't mean that you don't have to fix what you were cited for to get there. The only person who can say, no, you don't have to is the judge, and they have not showed up to court. So, that's the next step. Pearl says she's already kind of chiefed in about that, so we'll kind of see at the next meeting where that takes us. And then let's see, 1715 Naples. Oh, the court date was was reset to July 3rd, which was a couple months ago. But the judge didn't show up, so therefore it had to be rescheduled again. They haven't set that date yet, but it will be rescheduled. It was on the docket though for July 3rd to be heard, which is good because remember this is the one that had just, we had a new prosecutor. They weren't sure what they were going to do about it. But now that new prosecutor has come in and said that they are going to in fact make them go back to court. So that's good. Let's see. 714 Lisbon, same thing. This is Mr. Arroyo's house. He just he doesn't have the funds. He tried to clean up the property. Pearl said she talked about cleaning up the property, about the trash cans and all of those things, pulling them back in. And I think she said,
mowed.
yeah,
I noticed
he
that the
mowed
other
and
day.
went out there and picked up branches and tree limbs and all that stuff to
cleaned
try and
up the
clean it up as
yards.
best as he could. So, and then 713 Lisbon. So the citizen, the citation was issued for this one, and the citizen asked for their court hearing to be reset to the August meeting, the August court date. They approved that request, and he's already been making progress. She says that he's already been out there cleaning up stuff, cutting tree limbs. He got some stuff off the porch, and I know it's slow, Priscilla, but progress is progress. So. And so she says that she has been seeing them work quite a bit out there because it was a mess before. So she thinks it's moving in the right direction. So keep that there. And then 307 London. Oh, this here.
Isn't that?
Oh yes,
the one?
okay, that's the house right here. Yeah, sorry, I was a little lost. So the owner finally reached back out to Curl. And they did start working on it a little bit. They took down the pickets. They don't intend to keep those down forever. They wanted to go, they're gonna have somebody actually mold them and make the same pickets because they like those, and like redo the pickets and then put those back up. And then they did the stem of the tree limbs, mowing, and that they're working on fixing the shutters on that house because there's some shutters falling off. So it's that's slow progress, but a little bit of progress every time we come. And then the 708 Lisbon, that well that was on site, they actually went and pulled the permit to have that well capped, and they've already sealed that well. So that's good. So
They took that well completely down.
yeah, but in order to take it down, you have to completely seal it. And so they did everything. They sealed it. Yeah.
That was one of the few still left standing in town.
Yeah,
We
I
wish
know.
they'd have just capped it like the others have been capped. But they
it was
took
a
it,
safety hazard.
They
so
took it completely down.
I mean, I understand some people want to keep them, but they just figure it's better. And the EAA approved that request. I think it's the EAA. And so they went ahead and sold that well. So, and then 1001 Naples, they had a lot of junk and debris, and so they actually.
Can you blow that up? Because
Yeah, sorry.
it's hard to see the picture of the house.
And so 1001 Naples, they had a lot of junk and debris. I think this is one y'all brought up last time too. And so they actually rented a dumpster, and they started getting rid of paint cans, tree limbs, just a whole bunch of junk. And they filled that dumpster and they pulled it off, and it looks a lot better. And then she talked to the property owner after that, and that they're still going to be doing a lot of work to it. So that there's progress on that one too. So a lot of this. A lot of these things, yeah, it's slow moving forward, but at least there's some progress in cleaning these up a little bit. So, and she seems like she's being persistent too. So that's another good thing. We're slowly talking to them and making sure that they're staying on top of their stuff. So
I have a question about historic district and general code, real quick. 301 Petersburg,
okay.
the grass is waist high, and so it's a yard issue. But it's in the historic district, so I don't know if I just need to.
Yeah, it's just a code compliance thing. If you see things like that, just for anybody, if you see something, anything really code compliance related, junk, trash, yard too high, you can always call code compliance directly, because they'll go out there and they'll cite them, or write them a little thing real quick and leave it on a door hanger and say, hey, please mow the grass real quick. With this rain, I know there's a big issue right now, because a lot of people can't cut it quick enough. So, I do know, not that they're being lenient, but they are understanding that it's hard to keep up with it. But if you see an issue like that, just reach out to code compliance. They don't mind hearing from y'all, and just let them know, and they will definitely go take a look at it and talk to those property owners. But
Okay.
I can let her know for now.
And then the second one is the one we brought up at the beginning, the two-story structure on 90, determining whether or not it's in the historic district, because they're going to start construction.
I don't think it is.
No, I have to, because Megan, the permitting, my permitting assistant, she's really good at finding those historic structures before they start moving forward, so I would be very surprised if it's in the historic district and it didn't come through y'all. But. Okay, so it's that one that used to be the A to Z graphics, right there next to the Southern Creek Boutique.
Right.
Yes,
That's the one we're talking about?
two-story.
Okay.
One of the oldest buildings on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but some of those you think,
It's not historic.
Well, it wasn't on our 96 list. When was it built?
That was built later.
Was it?
Yeah, it's not historic.
it looks like, so, it's weird, it looks like the property line straddles either HE or CG, so regardless, that would be historic. And you said that they are doing work on that, or they just look like they're doing something to it, or what are they doing?
There was an article that I read that construction was going to start and to be completed, I think sometime in the fall, because they were planning on opening in the fall. But I don't know if the work was exterior work or interior work.
Oh, okay. 509 Highway 19. Check that out. I'm gonna just check our permitting system just to make sure nothing was issued. Second. No, so I don't have a permit for it, so if you do have to.
I can show you that article.
Yeah, if you want to send it to me, that'd be great.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, I don't have a permit for it, so that just means they haven't constructed parking yet. So they may still be doing their plans and planning on doing that, or if they're moving forward with something, just let us know if you see some work happening out there, because unfortunately we don't have eyes on the city.
What did the article say?
It was welcoming a new
Oh.
venue to the city, yoga and
Oh.
wellness,
I
and
wonder, sometimes those, because they're just leasing those properties, I wonder if that they're maybe just doing some work to the inside of it, just to make it fit.
Just to make it,
Fit what they're
what
using
they're
it
doing?
for, because
Mhm.
a lot of those older buildings, and when it's on the inside, they don't have to come before y'all. The only thing they have to come
Right.
to the city for is a CFO unless it's structural work. And typically, something like that, if they wouldn't even do structural work because they're just leasing that building out. But you never know, so.
I guess we'll know when they come and want a sign put up.
Yeah,
Right.
they do have to come first for a CFO and a sign, so, for sure.
Okay, anything else? So we will adjourn at 7:40.
Just got an alert for inclement weather in Castroville.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is it coming?
I could keep
I
hearing
heard the
thunder.
thunder.
Yeah, I can hear the thunder. So.
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Cindy and Stacy, for sitting up.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, y'all need to go look at the mural if you've never seen the mural.
I sure will.
I helped build that building.
Yes, you do. Have you seen the mural?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, your name is on the stone in front of it.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh.
Unless we missed you when we had that made.
I'll have to go look. Used to be like, dude.
Oh, yeah, the wine.
Yeah.
You throw that in that trash.
Right, I've got the materials and everything, I've got the steel. No, it's the. It's.
I was too sure I was a bit
You have a pillow that's gonna be.
Yeah, well, I have these different things that sort of. Well, yeah, I've got what would go inside,
All right.
and if,
Okay.
but I even have something else that.
I know, he said so for an hour.
You might suggest. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Do you want it dance on the recording on the
No,
edge?
no.
You just want to see like pillowcase, you just put it in, and so anything's on.
Right, and so,
Oh,
so
okay,
I
there.
take it out more.
Yeah, I think you said that on tape. You did, and you know, maybe I'm like, should I start forcing it to them? But then at the same time, I'm like, then they'll be getting about it.
Oh, that would be.
Questions.
That would be good.
That would be good.
Yes.
Priscilla, checks on that, 12/13 development.